Hello, and welcome to Lesson 13 of Speed Puzzling 101 Tips and Tricks, quick speed puzzling lessons in under 10 minutes. Today's lesson is on different strategies on opening the bag at the start of a puzzle competition. As a disclaimer, there is no single correct way to do a puzzle, or in this case, open a bag. My advice may work for some, and it may not work for others. I suggest trying as many different strategies as possible and seeing what works best for you. When it comes to in-person speed puzzling events, the anticipation before the event starts is one of the best parts, and that's even more true when there's a puzzle sitting in front of you and it's hidden inside of a bag. This is an easy step to waste a little bit of time, especially if you don't practice and find an approach that works best for you. You may be thinking that this doesn't really matter. You may lose a second, 2, 3. If you're really slow at it, maybe 5 or 10 seconds. If that's your mindset and you are competitive, I would suggest looking at final results for major competitions, so national competitions, world events, European events, and seeing the differences between some of the times. You are going to find many instances where someone is 1 to 2 seconds or 5 seconds behind the person in front of them. So if the placing is important to you, you want to be saving time in as many areas as possible while doing a competition. There was at least one person at the World Championships this year that missed out on qualifying for the finals in the individual event by 3 seconds. There was another one that missed it by 4 seconds. So yeah, did it come down to the bag at Worlds? No, because of other reasons. But you don't know what may or may not contribute to every single second in a competition and where you might lose little bits here and there. Another example would be the 2025 Canadian Nationals. There was an individual that missed out on the finals for that by 3 seconds, and yes, there were bags to open at the very start of that event. So it can happen. Most events that are run by Ravensburger will have the iconic blue bag that you can see behind me. In some events, they'll have special bags such as the Rainbow Gradient. The Canadian Nationals, sponsored by Ravensburger, had red bags to open. Unfortunately, we weren't allowed to keep any of those. But even competitions that aren't sponsored by Ravensburger, so the European Championship, last year Treffel was their main sponsor, and they had bags to open before their competitions. I've competed in smaller, more local competitions where they had just generic shoestring type bags to open. So regardless of the competition, in most cases for in-person, there will be some sort of bag to open at the very start of the event. Now, there are multiple approaches and strategies to opening the bag. Whatever works for you, go for it, but what you do want to keep in mind is the next step. So the next step after opening the bag will be to open the box. You want to set yourself up in the best possible way to make that transition as easy as possible. So let's go through a few examples. Before you open the bag, you need to be ready to go. Once that countdown starts, your hands should already be on the bag and ready to open. Don't have your hands anywhere near the strings, but instead as close to the inside of the opening as possible. You want to dedicate 1 finger per hand to open each side. The common approaches would be to use the thumbs or to use the index fingers and then pull outwards. I prefer the thumbs as my hands are fully upright. Using the fingers tilts the hands a little bit, so moving on to the next step might be slightly more awkward, but whatever works for you, go for it. When you pull the bag, pull as far apart as possible. Too many times I see people only pull halfway and then try to get the box out. It doesn't work and wastes valuable time. Pull it fully open. Once the bag is open, you need to decide how to get the puzzle out. A separate piece of advice is to quickly check to see the orientation of the box. Is it right side up or upside down, as that can make a difference. When you're waiting for the countdown, that is the perfect time to very quickly check to see which side of the puzzle is facing up or down. The first approach is the grab and pull. I see this one often, and it is my preference as you have full control over the box at all times. Once you open the bag, quickly turn the opening to the side, grab the box with one hand and pull the bag off with the other. Toss the bag on the floor and open the box. Again, I like this as I have control over the box. Regardless of the orientation of it, I can move on to the next step easily. But if I don't open the bag fully, you can see where the problem might be. If the bag isn't fully opened, you essentially have to start the process all over again. The The second approach is the double pull and drop. I see this approach a lot. It's interesting. It is not my preferred way, as you give up some control over the puzzle box. With this, you pull open the bag, then grab the two bag corners, lift the bag up a bit, and drop the puzzle out. The higher you drop, the less control you have over the box. So if you do decide to do this method, try to do less of a drop and more of a slide. What you don't want is the box bouncing upside down, or worse, bouncing off to the side of the table. You don't want to damage the box either. So you just want to set yourself up in the best way possible. And third, the reverse double pull. We see this more in pairs and teams, as it allows someone else on your team to grab the box while you deal with the bag. But I also see it in individuals from time to time. In this, you face the opening of the bag away from you. Again, you pull the bag open. This one is trickier as you can't visually see if you've opened it fully, so there is a bit of risk here. Once it's open, you'll pull the bag towards you like you are pulling a tablecloth off of a table. A single quick and fluid motion. You want to be careful here, as you don't want to pull in a way that sends a puzzle over the edge of the table, which I have seen happen. Now those are just 3 quick examples. There may be something else that you have discovered that works better for you. If so, go for it and share it in a comment below this video as well. Now this may seem like a random lesson to include here, especially with no major competitions happening anywhere right now, but these little aspects of speed puzzling do add up. You want to practice these things consistently and over a longer period of time, so there is less pressure in the moment. Practicing this as much as possible should eventually make this more of a muscle memory approach, so it's something that you don't need to even think about at a competition. You're just focused on the puzzle, whatever it may be. If you can save a couple seconds here, as well as in a few other areas that don't directly involve putting pieces together, that time will add up. And again, every second that you can save is beneficial. A future lesson on this channel will look at a few other areas during a speed puzzle round that are not necessarily puzzle specific, as in putting pieces together, but areas that you can save a few seconds here and there, and it will mostly just come down to muscle memory. If you don't have a puzzle bag from a previous competition to practice with, any drawstring bag will work. You just need to make sure that it will fit a puzzle. You want to be able to fit various sizes of puzzles as well. So yes, we have the standard 500 piece puzzles from Ravensburger, and other 500 piece puzzles come in smaller boxes. Sometimes they're in larger or more awkwardly shaped ones, like the circle puzzles in square boxes. Make sure it can fit maybe a 1,000 piece box as well. You just want to be prepared for any situation at a competition. There are also good bags to bring limited supplies to a puzzle competition, so multiple uses for these types of bags. If you don't have one, just go and get one. That is it for lesson 13 of Speed Puzzling 101 tips and tricks. Please click like if you enjoyed the video, leave a suggestion or a question below, and make sure to subscribe to stay up to date with all the content on this channel. Coming up very soon on this channel is another episode of Puzzled and Chatty, where I sit down with a fellow speed puzzler and talk about all things that are puzzles. Very excited for this upcoming video, and if you are following the Speed Puzzling 101 lessons, this will be a useful video for you to watch, as it looks at a very specific strategy within speed puzzling. And also returning very soon to this channel is the next chapter of my puzzle story, where I'll be looking at part of the World Championships that just took place a couple months ago. As well, I'll be releasing a updated video reflecting on the predictions that I made for the various Canadian puzzlers and some international puzzlers for the World's 2025 Jigsaw Puzzle Championship. That is it. I will see you next week for another lesson. Class dismissed, and as always, happy puzzling. Bye.